What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. I'm going to break down some big news that just came out that's very important for why the market's gapping up, what you should be watching for as time goes on, as we're seeing some new levels. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below or use my QR code right here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia plus a $100 cash reward. Deposits $10,000 or more to get $300 worth of Nvidia plus $100, or deposits $50,000 more to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock plus $100. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends very soon. So please use my link down below to sign up or this QR code. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So this morning, the market is gapped up pretty hard, and we're going to see if this run continues because we're near this new resistance area, which is going to be at this 683 area. If we break this, we're going to likely continue to push. But if we end up losing, I would say like closer to 680. If we lose close to 680, obviously this entire gap will likely fill. So far, we're favoring the upper part of this, and we are looking more bullish. So why is the market pumping like this? Some big news came out that there's a trade deal in the works between the US and China. Many officials from both sides have come out and they have set the framework for President Trump and President Xi Jinping during their meeting in a couple of days to once again sign a trade deal, which is going to be very, very important. This is going to be affecting computer chips, soybeans, all kinds of different products, and hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods between both countries. What could be happening is that the tariffs that President Trump wanted to impose on China could be delayed by over a year. And then the export controls could also be delayed by a year as well on the rare earth materials. And then simultaneously, there could be more details such as like China buying more US soybeans, and the list goes on. This is going to be a massive deal. So it's having a big effect on the markets. And there's lots of euphoria right now. So we're going to see if we continue to break out or not. On top of this, there's also been other big deals that have come out between the US and Cambodia, the US and Malaysia, and all these different countries with tariffs ranging between 19 and 20%. This is also a big piece of news as President Trump is visiting these Asian countries this week, and lots of deals are continuing to be signed. So just keep that in mind. That's what's going on, at least thus far. And so far, the market remains more, bullish and remains more excited about all this, and that is good news at least thus far. Now, what else is going on that's important is that I'm not seeing any other major headlines from here, but we do have some data when it comes to our economic calendar. At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. Could cause a little bit of volatility. Then at 11:30 a.m. we have the 2-year note auction, 6-month bill auction that could also cause some volatility. And that's pretty much it. There's not anything else too crazy for today. Now, for earnings, there's not really much for today either, but on Tuesday, we have SoFi and PayPal. And then on Thursday, we have big tech earnings like I talked about earlier. So be prepared for these earnings. Besides that, let's focus on the charts and break down exactly what's going on. So, the market is in a very interesting place. And typically, what happens is when you get these like really, really big gaps, the market's known for being like a very choppy, at least afterwards. So it depends though, because we need SPY to basically hold above 683, and if so, we're going to easily make new all-time highs. But if we lose 680, the levels are kind of like marked right here, then yes, there is a risk of us returning back down for that gap fill around 677. So just keep that in mind. Those are going to be your key levels to watch for. Now, obviously, right now during the pre-market, we're kind of like gapping up and going. The last time this happened was on Friday when we had CPI data. We just gapped up and continued to run. So are we going to just gap up and continue to run from here, or do we just kind of like gap up and reject? I think it also depends on FOMC in a couple of days. So far, the market is in a more choppy phase, although we are favoring upside a bit more. So let's break this down. How is this going to likely move? If SPY breaks 683, we're going to likely continue to push for 684 and 685. That is the upside move if we could hold above 683. So far, we do see this as the most likely possibility as we're holding up well. But if we get a big rejection, we don't hold this low from the pre-market at 682. We're watching 681 and 680s remain supports. Of 680 fails us, then there's a big gap to fill down here, and this gap is going to take us back down to 677 if 680 fails us. As of right now, we're pushing, and I do think there might be some buyers who try to defend. So SPY is favoring upside a little bit more for new all-time highs, right? 683, then 684 we're watching for, and 685 looks like a more definitive target. For the QQQ, it's basically an identical setup. Okay, so for the triple Q, if we hypothetically end up losing 622, I could see us return to like 620. Then, if both of those fails, we have the gap fill to 617. That's the bearish case. The bullish case is that you want to hold above 626. If that holds, I think we could be slowly pushing for 628 or above. That's like the more bullish case. Okay. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to see some consolidation like this before we continue to push. So far, that is the most likely possibility if we could hold above 626. I think that there's a chance that we're going to try to continue to push if we hold above the key levels. But if we lose 622, of course, we could turn south. My mind could change. But for now, we're still favoring upside looking at the setup. On the IWM, we also gapped up and we're trying to go. If we lose 250, we could be dipping to fill the gap at 248. As long as we hold above this support, we're looking for 253 to 254, and we're still favoring the upwards direction. On ES, if we break past 6,900, we're looking more bullish. But if we end up losing 68, 65, we could be dipping to fill this gap. We're favoring, we want to be touching 6,900. We look a little bit more bullish. Do expect some chop, but overall the setup is a little bit stronger. Same thing with NQ, we're slowly pushing. If we break 25,900, we're going to be going even higher. If we lose 25,700, we're going to be turning back down. But as of right now, we look more bullish. On Bitcoin, we're technically consolidating as long as we don't end up losing any major supports. We're going to continue to consolidate and push back up to 116,000. On Tesla, we're also range bound here. Now, if Tesla could hold above 440, we're looking for an attempt to push for 445. But if 438 fails us, we could be dipping to fill the gap. To me, Tesla is just kind of gapping up and consolidating. It's not really looking as strong as SPY in the QQQ because there's been lots of recall news, but we'll see if we could get back above like 440. If it manages to do that, of course, this may continue to push because, of course, these tariffs affect Tesla as well. A lot of chip stocks like Nvidia are making bigger moves. We're gapping up and going. Break 191, I think 192.5 plus is coming. If we lose 189, though, we could be dipping to fill this gap at 186. But for now, we're consolidating and looking like we want to be going to like 192. Appl's range bound break 266. We're looking more bullish, but if we end up losing 264, we're going to be turning back down. I'm anticipating some consolidation. We'll see if we get some kind of rejection or not. For AMD, if we can break and hold above 260, we're looking bullish. But if we end up losing 256, we're going to be dipping to fill this gap. Overall, we're just range bound. Coinbase also has to hold above 365 to be bullish. If not, we're looking for 360. Then this gap fill back down to 356. For Amazon, if we can end up breaking past 229, we're looking for new highs. Lose 226, we turn back down. This looks a little bit more bullish, favoring new highs for 229. Meta needs to hold above 750 to continue this run. If not, we're looking at support at 745, but it still looks more bullish. Google's also looking at 266 as our resistance. We'll see if that breaks. If we lose 264, we're going to be tipping back down to fill this gap, but as of right now, it looks more bullish. Microsoft looks more bullish. We have 532 as our resistance, and we'll see if we continue to push from here for 533. And if we end up losing 528, we're going to be turning back down. So I think for now, we are favoring the upwards direction. The VIX is also rejecting here. We kind of gapped down and we're dipping, so we may continue to fall back down to the lower 15s. But overall, I just want to let you know that the VIX is still, it's still once again looking more bearish, and that is another sign that the market is more bullish. So to me, okay, although some stocks are kind of like gapping up and trading sideways, SPY and the QQQ are at their upper resistances, so they're favoring that they want to break out more. But I want to see confirmation if SPY can hold above 683. So for now, we look more bullish. There is a lot of euphoria, so be careful and be very unbiased with the way you play this. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening, and I'll be back in a couple of hours. Just know that the market typically kind of like gaps up and chops around when you have a gap like this, but in this case, SPY and the QQQ are attempting to go higher, so we could still see some more upside. So be unbiased once again and play the charts, and I wish you all nothing but the best. Thank you for listening, and peace out.